Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn how to solve problems on iterative method. So, we'll be solving two problems. The first problem will be neglecting losses and neglecting generator limits. And the second problem will be based on neglecting losses and including generator limits. So this is the problem statement. The fuel cost in dollar per hour for three thermal units are as follows. This is F1, F2 and F3. So this is A value, B value and C value. So similarly for all the three units we have the fuel cost expression. Find the optimal schedule if power demand is equal to 500 megawatt. Neglect the losses. Let the initial estimate be lambda equal to $7 per megawatt hour. So in this question they have already given the initial estimate of lambda value. If in case the initial estimate is not given, assume one of these value or assume any value which is nearer to the BI quantity. So first one, we'll look into the first step. So calculate Pg1 of 1, Pg2 of 1 and Pg3 of 1 using lambda of 1. So this is the initial estimate, so I'll take this as lambda of 1. So the within bracket we will be showing the number of iteration or the iteration number. So here within bracket it is showing 1, which means that we are doing the first iteration. So the first step will be to calculate the power output for the initial estimate value we have taken. So the initial estimate value is lambda equal to $7 per megawatt hour. So for that value we will calculate the power output. Sometimes you may get some invalid numbers like in negative or 0, but that is fine because we are using the initial estimate. So first we will calculate Pg of 1, Pg2 of 1, Pg3 of 1. So these are we get when we substitute the value we get 0, minus 60 and 66.67 megawatts. Next we will calculate delta P of 1. This is step number 2, calculating delta P of 1 using this expression. PD minus summation I equal to 1 to 3 PGI of 1. So when we substitute we will get 493.33 megawatt. So using delta P of 1, the third step will be to calculate delta lambda of 1. So using this expression. So we'll calculate delta lambda of 1. We get delta lambda of 1 equal to this value. So this is the value that this is the change in the lambda value desired so that delta P reduces to 0. I'll repeat, delta lambda of 1 will be the change in the lambda 1 desired to make delta P of 1 0 or delta P value approximately equal to 0. So now using this delta lambda we will update the lambda value. Now when we add this value to the previous value we get the lambda value for the next iteration. So this is nothing but lambda k plus 1 is equal to delta lambda k plus lambda k. So this is we'll be updating the lambda value for the second iteration. So for the second iteration we will get around 8.0034. So when we substitute this value we get Pg1 of 2 is equal to 125.425 megawatt, Pg2 of 2 is equal to 140.68 megawatt and Pg3 of 2 is equal to 233.9 megawatt. Using this power output value we'll calculate the delta P of 2. This is delta P for the second iteration, which we get around 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 megawatt. Now if you want more accuracy you can go for next iteration until delta P is very small. But here we have already got delta P very small value, so we don't have to go for the next iteration. So whatever value we have got, that is this and this value, this value will be considered as the final one and the corresponding lambda value will be the incremental fuel cost for the system. So if you want for more iteration you can go for the third iteration where the delta P value will come less than 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 value. So this is how the iterative problem will be solved. So only thing you need to keep in mind that you need to First, calculate the power output for the given initial estimate value of lambda. Next, calculate the delta P value. Next, calculate delta lambda value. If delta P value is very small, you can update the delta lambda value, and for the next iteration again the similar procedure will be followed until delta P value is very small. For more accuracy, we go for higher iteration. Since we are having only 3 units here and we are neglecting the losses, so within 2 iteration we get the delta P value very small. When the number of system increases and when we are including the losses also, so then we need a higher number of iteration to gain the accuracy. Now this process of gaining the accuracy or making delta P equal to some value or some tolerance value or getting it approximately equal, we call it as convergence. So when in the next semester when you go for load flow analysis, this convergence plays a very important role. So we say that if it means that the whatever problems we have started, whatever the iteration we are doing, each iteration how near it is to the convergence. So in this, within 2 iteration we have reached certain level of convergence, but sometimes we may require more than 2 iteration to gain that convergence. Clear? So that concepts will be more clear when we go for load flow analysis in the next semester. Clear? So this is how neglecting losses and neglecting generator limits, this particular problem will be solved. Coming to the next problem, that is this problem statement. So this is the problem statement. Here we are having the generator limits also. So now we will see how to solve the problems when generator limits are included. So before going to the question, I'll just explain the basic gist of the overall procedure. So first thing that you have to do here is that proceed as you have done in the previous unit, the previous problem. So whatever procedure you are following there, the same procedure will be followed. You will calculate the PG values, power output values for all the 3 generating units using the initial lambda value. We will not look into or we will not check whether any of them have violating the limits. Even if they are violating the limits, it is fine. So we will calculate the PG value. From there we will calculate delta P value. Then we will calculate delta lambda value and we'll update the value. We will proceed until we get certain convergence. Now once we have reached the certain convergence or certain accuracy level, then we have to check if any units are violating its limit. If any of the units are violating its limit, we will fix the power output of that limit according to their limit. Clear? And then we will calculate again delta P value, and then the lambda value will be updated, keeping in mind the limits are now considered. So we will solve. We will look into the problem now. We will understand it more clearly. So first we have 3 generating units have a total capacity of 500 megawatt. The incremental cost of production are given as follows: IC1, IC2, IC3. These are dF1 by dF2 values. They are not F1, F2, F3 values, whereas they are dF1 by dF2 values. Clear? So this 25 will be equal to 25 will be equal to B, and 0.2 is equal to 2 into C. I'll repeat, 25 is the B coefficient, 0.2 gives you 2 into C. It is not only C, it is 2 into C, and these are the generator limits, and the total load is 500 megawatt, and they have given initial estimate to be equal to 25 rupees per megawatt hour. If this is not given, you can assume either 25 or 30 or 20 or any number which is nearer to these values. I can go for 21, 22, 26, 25. So based on that you can go for the initial value. So lambda of 1 is equal to 25 according to the question given. So we will calculate PG1 of 1, PG2 of 1, PG3 of 1 using the initial estimate. So these are the values we get. So from there we will calculate the delta P value. So we get 96.67 megawatt. Using this we will calculate delta lambda value, which we get around 7.84. So this is the change required to update the lambda value so that delta P becomes very small. So now we have updated the delta lambda value using delta lambda value. So we get for the next iteration, the lambda value we get is around 32.84 rupees per megawatt hour. So now using the this updated value of lambda, we will start with the second iteration calculation. So now we will calculate Pg1 of 2, Pg2 of 2, Pg3 of 2, and we get these around these values, and we calculate delta P of 2, and we have got around 0.027, which is approximately equal to 0, and we will stop the iteration here. So now we have taken these final values. So this is the procedure that we had followed in the previous problem. Now we have to check the limits. Now we have to see if any generator unit is violating its limit. So here you can see that Pg1 and Pg3 is within their limits. So if I go back to the question, so 2200, 3200. So these two units are within their limits, but Pg2 we are getting around 9.467 megawatt, which is less than its minimum value. Minimum value is 30 megawatt. So Pg2 is Pg2 is violating its limit. So what we do here is that we will fix the or peg the Pg2 value equal to 30 megawatt. Since it is less than its minimum value, we have to fix it to 30 megawatt. So we will fix it to 30 megawatt, and then we will calculate the new delta P value. Now since we have done only till second iteration, the proceeding will be for the second iteration itself. If after third iteration we would have stopped, then the corresponding delta P values or delta lambda value will be for third iteration. But here we have stopped till second iteration. So now we will be calculating delta P and delta lambda new values in the second iteration itself. So delta P of 2 new value will be equal to PD minus summation of PGI. So we will take these values of Pg1 and Pg3, we will keep the same values, 39.2 and 51.36, but instead of Pg2, instead of 9.467 megawatt, we will take this value, that is pegged value, 30 megawatt. So 30 megawatt is taken, and we will calculate the delta P value. Now there is a slight modification in the delta lambda calculation. Now here we will not include that generator unit whose value has who has violated its limit and value is fixed to certain limit. So here the second unit has violated its limit, so we have fixed its value to 30 megawatt. So there is no need to calculate the power output for that particular generating units. So when we are calculating delta lambda value, we will not include that generator unit. We will exclude that generator unit, and then we will calculate delta lambda value. So here see, we have taken 1 by 2C1 plus 1 by 2C3. We have not included 1 by 2C2. Okay, so in the calculation of delta P, you need to consider all the three generator units, but in the calculation of delta lambda, we will consider only those generating units whose output was within their minimum and maximum limit. So based on that, we will calculate delta lambda, and we get around 2.2844. So this when we update, we get delta lambda value equal to 30.556. So based on this, we will calculate Pg1 of 3 and Pg3 of 3. Okay, so now here we will not be calculating Pg2 because Pg2 is already fixed. So now we will calculate delta lambda. We will take 27.78, that is the value we've got here, plus 30. This is the fixed value of second unit. Next 42.224, that value we have got here. So using that value, we will calculate delta P, and we get these values. So Pg2 is already 30. So coming these according to Tucker condition, these two values will have the same incremental fuel cost, but the unit which has violated its limit will have incremental fuel cost greater than this value. So if you calculate, you will get greater than this value. Okay, but these two units will have 30.556 as its incremental fuel cost. That's it. Thank you.